Hello and welcome to the session on brakes. In the previous session, we have discussed on the clutches, single plate and multi plate clutches, and the problems we have discussed. In this session, we will learn about brakes and one type of brake we will discuss in this case. So, what are brakes? As you know already, term and you are familiar with it. As you know that it is a mechanical device. As you know, it is used to control the motion where by absorbing kinetic energy of a moving body or by absorbing a potential energy of the objects being lowered. That means carrying a load from one place to another place vertically, where if I want to stop this, I need to use a brake drum here also. So brakes are mechanical device where it is used to slow down or provide absorb some kinetic energy or potential energy, which is in case of hoisting machinery. That is the major purpose, where to stop the vehicle in case of automobiles, where in case of hoisting machinery or elevators, the brakes are employed to empty or to load the skip from one place to another. Major thing which you can observe in case of brakes are how much energy absorbed. That means while stopping or while holding that whatever the moving component, to stop the moving component, there will be energy absorption takes place, as I told you in first point, where brakes are nothing but it is a device where it absorbs kinetic energy of a moving body, or it can absorb the potential energy in case of hoisting machinery or in case of elevators. As you can see, in both the cases energy will be absorbed in linear motion, also in case of vertical motion. As you can see, in case of this, energy will be absorbed by the brakes here. And most important thing here, the moving member and non-moving member will be there. So there will be a friction between moving and non-moving surfaces. If I consider automobile as an example, where the wheel is moving and the brakes are stationary, if I apply the brakes, you can see that moving component loses its kinetic energy, and finally it slows down and it will stops. So thereby kinetic energy will be absorbed by the brake and it is dissipated in terms as heat. Due to the friction generated between moving and non-moving components, you can experience the heat or friction, as a result heat will be dissipated. And most important things we need to consider while designing the brakes are, so these are the factors which are influencing the design of brakes. One is the pressure. That is, pressure is nothing but whatever the force at which the brakes are applied on the entire area. If I consider this as a hoisting drum, where brake drum surrounding the band is there, where it has to stop, where this entire will be pressurized by the moving drum. So what is the pressure that is applied? For example, in this case, block is there where lever is attached. In this case, the brakes are applied on this surface, that whatever the pressure experienced is very important. And also coefficient of friction. Friction, it is nothing but generated between the brake drum and the wheel here, or else in case of this here, block and the wheel here. So that is a coefficient of friction, variable. And also velocity of brake drum, how much velocity that brake drum is moving inside. So that is also very important. And projected area, projected area of the bearing. If I want to stop, see, this is the belt attached where it is used for stopping. You can see the brakes are here, you can see here. This is used to stop the brake drum. Brake drum stops the entire operation. So it depends on the velocity of the brake drum at which it is moving. If it is slow, it is able to absorb less energy. If it is rotating faster rate, then it will be losing more of energy. Projected area of that brake, and also ability to dissipate heat, that is very important. How much friction will be there, that much heat will be dissipated, and heat it has to dissipate. If it is not dissipating its heat, then brakes are actually weared out. And also you can see the major commonly used braking system. As you can see, disc and drum brakes are commonly employed in case of automobiles. So next important thing is how energy absorbed by the brake. So which are the parameters I need to consider for this? So one is braking torque capacity. It is simply nothing but where in this case how much force I need to apply to stop the wheel. So that is nothing but braking torque capacity. Torque, why torque term is there? Because of that wheel will be moving, that wheel has to stop, it is having some torque. So whatever the brakes applied will stop that torque, and also it reduces the kinetic energy. Thereby this will be called as brake torque capacity, or it is nothing but force which is required to stop the motion of the wheel. And how energy absorption by brake will be considered? That means due to change of kinetic energy of rotating parts. You can see here three images I have shown. Whenever the vehicle is at the top, where it will be experiencing high potential energy, where the entire mass is considered and the gravity will be there, and it is to fall in this direction only. Thereby kinetic energy is less, thereby potential energy will be more. Whenever it is at the ground, you can see minimum potential energy, because the mass is stable, and also the maximum kinetic energy is absorbed because all four wheels are driving in the direction of in a single direction. And you can see in case of third figure I have shown, low potential energy as well as high kinetic energy. So all three images distinguishes that energy will be not same, that is kinetic and potential energy. It depends on what road or what thing, whether it is uphill or downhill. On the straight roads, depends, energy depends on the road, what type of road we are riding. And change in potential energy absorbed by the brake, that means two things, as I told you. One is change in kinetic energy of rotating parts, how much fast the wheel is moving, if whatever the velocity at which, so energy absorbed by the brake depends on kinetic energy. And also energy absorbed by the brake depends on change in potential energy. So sometimes it is high, sometimes it is minimum, sometimes it is low. So all three parameters will be considered for energy absorption. And next thing is it is always said that whatever friction experienced by the brake, or the whatever friction which is work done, if I want to calculate work done by the brake, it will be always equal to the heat dissipated. That means energy to be dissipated. So both will be equal. That means to say that here I have shown two images where you can see that lever is there and the fulcrum is there, and here you can have the drum here, where it has to stop the drum. The block is used where the force is applied in this direction so that the wheel stops. So how much force I need to apply, that it's very important. And also whatever the force exerted creates the frictional resistance, and ultimately the kinetic energy of this moving wheel will be reduced, thereby the vehicle will stop. So what are the different types of brakes we have? One is block or shoe brake, and the second one is band brake, band and block brake, internal expanding shoe brake. So we will discuss mainly block brake and band brake, which are very important and is there for your syllabus. Band brake, sorry, a single block or shoe brake are nothing but where you can see that here I have shown, and here also I have shown in the application slide. Here also I can see. Here in this case, one is which is fixed. Here is the drum which is there, which is rotating, and it has radius r and angle of contact theta here. And this is the shoe or block, you can see here, and this is the lever which is connected to this point. See one thing, while if we need to stop the drum from rotating, the force is applied at one end of the lever, where one end of the lever is fixed. It will be moving angularly, so that the drum gets stopped here. So that is the whole working area behind it, and it is rigidly attached to the lever, as you can see in this case, and this is fixed. And a major disadvantage of this brake is to where we don't know that how many what force is required to stop the drum, that we never bothered. In this case, what is important is what is the major disadvantage is abnormal force will be acting due to that inclination and fixing, where this shoe will be experiencing can experience wear, and also whatever the load which is applied on the lever, it will have a adverse effect on the shaft bearings where it has been placed. So thereby it has some disadvantages that has to overcome. And here in this case we have three different cases, all are of which depends on direction of force, which is passing through the fulcrum or passing in between. It is depends on two things. One is tangential force F theta, which is passing through the fulcrum, and one more thing is location of it. So first thing is line of action of tangential force passes through the fulcrum. So this is the case where you can see that whatever the tangential force acting on the brake drum, which is represented as F theta, which is towards the fulcrum. You can see this is the fulcrum and it is towards the fulcrum. So for this case, this is the first case of the single block or shoe brake. And next is where the tangential force which is acting away from the fulcrum, where we have distinguished from the force. This is the radial axial force which is acting, and this is the tangential force exerted. And both the cases you can see the tangential force is acting away from the fulcrum. In this case, tangential force is towards the fulcrum, that is point O. So this is the first case, and we will discuss more on this in problems. Next, case 2, where a line of action of tangential force is in between fulcrum and the center of the drum. See, you can see here direction of F theta towards the fulcrum, that is towards the fulcrum means where it will be acting into the direction of fulcrum. And also this tangential force F theta is in between the fulcrum, that is point O, and the center of the drum. This is the center of the drum. So F theta will be in between that. This is case number 2. In that first one I am talking about. Here also you can see that where the block is at the top, where tangential force is towards the fulcrum, and also it is in between the fulcrum and the center of the drum. And in that case too, second part is where direction of F theta is away from the fulcrum. As you can see in this case, force experienced by the drum which is acting away here due to the direction if it is changed clockwise and anti-clockwise, we can have these two things. And here also you can see overheat when it is moving in clockwise direction, the whatever F theta will be away from the fulcrum, and it is in between fulcrum and the center of the drum. So in case 3, as you can see, the fulcrum is in between F theta and the center of the drum. See, if I draw like that, you can see this fulcrum is there in between F theta and center of the drum, where it is towards the drum in case of clockwise. In counterclockwise, you can see that the block will be upper side. You can see that F theta is in between fulcrum and the you can see that the fulcrum is in between the tangential force F theta and the center of the drum. Here also you can see that F theta is away from the fulcrum. You can see second in third case, second parameter we are discussing. In this case, as you can see, the tangential force acting on the drum which is away from the fulcrum, and also the fulcrum is in between center of the drum and tangential force. Here also, if it is moves in clockwise direction, the force will be different in the different direction where it is away from the fulcrum, and also in this case also the fulcrum is in between the center of the drum and the tangential force. So these are the cases on single block or shoe brake. We will discuss more on this by solving some of the problems. I hope you have understood whatever I taught. If you have doubts, any doubts on this, kindly contact me through WhatsApp or mail. So thanks for watching.